Riptide was a tournament full of strong players pushing to new peaks. Nobody broke out like Peabnut, the Mega Man from South Carolina. He took the super fighting robot to a major peak not seen since Kameme won Umebura Japan Major over 3 years ago, and even that required the help of a Wario secondary. Mega Man is one of the most intriguing characters in the Smash Ultimate roster, a character full of unique moves and mechanics offering seemingly infinite potential, but one that only a select few have managed to pilot with success at the top level. Today we'll dive into Peabnut's run to second place at Riptide and the multi-layered play that has turned him into the top Mega Man of the post-lockdown era. Mega Man was a character you needed to know if you played competitive Smash Ultimate in 2019, the game's first full year after its December 2018 release. Mega Man ranked 10th in Easy Freezy's PGRU V1 placement percentage rankings, which you can read more about at the link in the description. Even though progressive nerfs over the first few patches thinned his ranks a bit, the character still ranked top 20 through PGRU V2, and featured the same 3 mains on the PGRU V2 who made the list in V1, Kameme, Scat, and Yeti. The character even saw some niche usage from Mars, who took a set from MKLeo's Joker with Mega Man at main stage. But the character emerged from lockdown missing a number of its top representatives, with some leaving the scene and others moving to other characters. At 45th, Peabnut was the only Mega Man on the PGRU NA. Trim and Loading in Europe and Repo in Japan put Mega Man at 4 mains across the regional PGRU V3s. But that means Mega Man composed just 2.5% of the 160-player combined PGRU V3, counting Area 51s. And that pales in comparison to the 5.4% mark on the PGRU V1 and V2. Even if you hand Kameme over to the Mega Man for 2022, which is a generous proposition given that he's playing more Sora and Sheik these days, Mega Man still only gets to 3.1% in the first post-lockdown PGRU. While Peabnut posted some strong results despite minimal travel in 2019, with 17ths at that year's MomoCon and CEO being chief among them, he is ascending to new heights in the post-lockdown period. Peabnut stuck with his character where many bailed, and he has been well rewarded for his faith in the Blue Bomber, bringing not just himself, but the character to a new post-lockdown peak. Few characters have the room for creativity that Mega Man allows. Not only does he have some of the most diverse arrays of projectiles in the game, but he also has mechanics that allow for much more freedom of movement than other players. The fact that he can shoot his pellets while walking, which is an incredibly strong mechanic that influenced the designs of Steve and Min Min as well, makes Mega Man the rare zoner who can keep up his pressure while on the move. He's also one of a select few characters with the privilege of acting out of Up Special. Even if that comes at the cost of a hitbox on his recovery, the sheer number of mix-ups offered by the option to double jump either before or after using Up Special makes Mega Man one of the hardest characters to edgeguard. And as Peabnut showed a couple times during his run, it can also allow for some wild whiff punish opportunities. Mega Man's kit is fascinating in part because there's no one button that defines the character's gameplay in every matchup. As a result, Mega Man players must have a wide variety of tactics under their belt, because certain characters, or even certain players, have better answers to certain aspects of the kit than others. Facing an opponent with armor or high-priority projectiles? Might be time to swap out the pellets for more Metal Blades. Facing a character with the speed to hard-punish Metal Blade spawn? Well, then it's time to use more pellets and Leaf Shield to disrupt their movement. You facing somebody who likes to shield camp? Now it's time to put on pressure with safe Leaf Shields and down airs. For a Mega Man player to succeed at the highest level, they have to find ways to make his tools greater than the sum of their parts. A perfect example of this is the Metal Blade Leaf Shield cancel Peabnut was showing off throughout Riptide, a technique you'll see from other top Mega Men like MPG as well. Leaf Shield is scary enough on its own, an easy 20% punish for simply dropping shield near Mega Man. Canceling it with a Metal Blade toss adds a whole new dimension to the move though. It can lead to combos if the opponent drops shield and big damage off grabs if they hold it. Mega Man is full of interactions like these, where hits that seem insignificant can all of a sudden turn into huge openings if the Mega Man player makes the right read. And Peabnut made the right read this past weekend. A lot. Nothing shows off Peabnut's mastery of this character and the deep lines of play he presents better than his usage of Crash Bomber. This is one of the most confusing moves for a non-Mega Man main to try and use. On its own, it's a pretty underwhelming tool. It takes 19 frames to come out and doesn't explode for another 2.5 seconds. Like Snake's C4, it transfers on contact, so if the opponent simply runs at a Mega Man shooting Crash Bomber, it might result in big trouble. A combo to punish N-lag, and the Crash Bomber explosion after it's all said and done. Let's say you do stick it to the opponent though. Even if all 5 hits connect, it only deals about 10% damage. And if they're far enough away, they can simply shield or retreat to ledge to avoid the damage. It's understandable for beginning Mega Man players or people who draw the character on random select to just avoid this move entirely. But to do that is to miss out on one of Mega Man's most powerful and creative tools. When Crash Bomber sticks to an opponent, the damage is really secondary. More importantly, they're put on a timer and forced to make a quick decision as to how to deal with it. Are they going to retreat and give up tempo? Or are they going to attack and try to take advantage of the short time before the explosion goes off? Or perhaps try to time a defensive option around the explosion? Peabnut's combination of positioning and some simply hard and correct reads allowed him to take this often forgotten move and make it a centerpiece of his run to second place. In his stream set wins at Riptide, Peabnut dealt a combined 851 damage, an average of 37% per game off of interactions that began with a Crash Bomber. Crash Bombers also led to a whopping 13 KOs, an average of over 2 per set. These KOs came in a variety of ways after Peabnut threw countless Crash Bomber situations at his opponents. He put on vicious shield pressure to force shield pokes. He chased down defensive options, and he used Crash Bomber's ability to stick to ledge to force recoveries to places that Peabnut could hit. Let's take a look at a few examples of the 13 KOs Peabnut forced with Crash Bombers in his streamed victories. Let's start with the simple stuff and first show off why you cannot allow the raw Crash Bomber to hit. It's the end of Peeb's first stream set against Rosalina player Linus, one half of the Doubles Master Twins along with Lucy. There is little more powerful in fighting games than being able to move when an attack is going off, as Peabnut shows with this beautiful confirm into forward air off of the stray Crash Bomber hit when Linus nairs. This clip also shows just how much time Mega Man has to prepare for the hit if you allow it, despite shooting an empty Crash Bomber. A 44-frame action before the Crash Bomber goes off, he still has plenty of time to hit the double jump fair and clean up the set. Now let's try and illustrate the tree of options a bit clearer here. Why would Linus be so anxious in that situation? How bad could it possibly be to let the Crash Bomber hit your shield in that spot? Well, let's ask Jake. It's game 2 and Jake needs to bring the momentum into his favor. He's down quite a bit of percent, but he has diamond, so this game is even Steven. Understandably, taking a Crash Bomber at 175% is an anxious situation, so Jake shields and hopes for the best. Peabnut is ready though, and times his short hop bear perfectly. The Crash Bomber and the first 2 hits of Mega Man's back air chip away at Jake's shield, leaving just enough room for Bear's third and final hit to poke and take the game. Well, how about dashing in? Linus tried it. Peabnut blew it up with up tilt. It's unclear what Linus tried to press here, but Mega Man up tilt is frame 6 with invincibility on frame 5. That's a strong answer to any attempted punish from this distance, assuming that the up tilt was buffered. The normally risky up tilt, a move with over a second of N-lag when used on level ground, is covered by Crash Bomber, and if the read is correct, the reward is a stock. Especially after the patience has been conditioned out of an opponent, this buffered up tilt turns into an incredibly strong option. Well, what about roll? Let's ask Zomba, who faced the situation with both Rob and Lucina and learned that it's an awfully similar story. And how could we not point out the play that led up to the first of those stocks in Game 1 against Zomba's Rob? That whole sequence started with a Crash Bomber, but that's not why we're showing it off. Just watch the player cam. Go, go! That man knows his Crash Bomber timings. What really makes Peabnut's Crash Bomber play special, though, is the way that he's able to follow up off of some more complex situations. Let's take a look at the set against Grape. It's Game 4, and Grape has switched off of Snake and onto a Roy that has punished Peabnut hard, including taking Game 3. This time, the Crash Bomber isn't stuck to the opponent. It's on the ledge, where it can set up for an easy back air if Grape goes for a typical recovery to the ledge. But Peabnut is one step ahead. Grape goes high, and Peabnut meets him with a hard knuckle. He misses the spike, but sending Grape off stage is just as good, as Peab has plenty of time to drop a second hard knuckle and secure the stock. This video just can't be long enough to show off all of Peabnut's impressive play from Riptide. His highlight plays went well beyond Crash Bomber. He hit up tilt after up tilt, whether raw, off parries, or drag down bears. He used pellets and leaf shield expertly to shut down movement. He secured multi-layered edge guards, creating impossible obstacle courses out of Mega Man's ridiculous projectile arsenal. Nothing brings it all together in a shorter amount of time than this stock from Peeb's first best-of-5 set of the tournament, a top 48 qualifier against Michigan Diddy Kong player Zanotto. A pellet gives Peabnut time to spawn a Metal Blade, putting him in position to utilize the Leaf Shield Metal Blade cancel to start off his pressure and secure a grab. The Crash Bomber is stuck, and you already know that this is going to end poorly for Zanotto. Peabnut had already secured a Leaf Shield Edgeguard against Zanotto earlier in the set, and he went for it again here. It misses, but the Crash Bomber forces an immediate get-up option from Zanotto, who opts for neutral get-up and its many intangible frames. But he's not out of the woods yet, as Peabnut is right back over him to threaten aerial pressure. Zanotto rolls, but Peabnut throws one single pellet, interrupting Zanotto's rhythm and forcing his buffer down tilt to come out just a few frames later than he expects. Now with the advantage, Peabnut finds the clean drag down bear into turnaround up tilt, a difficult input to achieve without dashing, and takes the stock. This clip perfectly shows the depth of Peabnut's gameplay. Zanotto did a fantastic job of not panicking or picking the same option twice at the ledge, but it didn't matter. Peabnut's coverage was so many layers deep that even Zanotto's relatively safe and careful return to ledge wasn't enough to escape the pressure put on by the Crash Bomber and Peabnut's positioning. According to PGstats contributor Easy Freezy, the PGRU V4 campaign had been a rough one thus far for Mega Man prior to Riptide. After falling to 33rd in the PGRU V3 season, Mega Man was sitting in 50th place before Peabnut made his run to Grand Finals at Riptide. But reports of Mega Man's demise have been greatly exaggerated, and he'll be sticking around for a while if Peabnut has anything to say about it. Looking for more Smash analysis? Mash that subscribe button and ring that bell, as we'll be incredibly busy over the next month with coverage from Ultimate Summit 5, Lost Tech City, The Big House, and more. From deep dives like this to recaps and melee coverage as well, PGstats is your home for everything competitive Smash. I've been Kimona, and from all of us here at PGstats, we thank you all for watching. See you next time.